we're doing a survey. We wanted to know what year you played.
Well, I didn't play, Kevin, but I coached back in 1959 to 1961. I coached the freshman team here at the high school.
What do you think the most important thing football taught you?
Football is it's not what it teaches you, but anyone who takes part in football, and you know, it's a team game, and you learn to sacrifice for a group. And I always think about when I went back to my high school about 7 years ago. I went to my 35th reunion, a little more than 7 years ago. And we didn't remember any scores, who won or lost, or what happened, but we remembered that we were a group and that we supported each other, and it was really great.
I got it. Do you remember like any bad injuries that happened on the field?
No. Those kinds of things you tend to forget.
Hey Mike, the best Middletown high school football team of all time.
Oh God, I can't remember. I can't really single out any one team. It might be the team I coached in 1959 that went undefeated. They were 6-0, and then went on to go undefeated in 1962. And that had a lot of great football players. And some of them come to mind. Joe Gratifying, who went up to play with Syracuse and university as a tackle, and Billy Gray, whose son later became quite an athlete in Middletown. Bob Brennan, and you know, the list went on and on. But back in the but every era seems to have a great football team. It goes in cycles. Last year Middletown had a great football team, and this year we're hurting a little bit. But tonight's our night.
All right.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Hi.
We gotta get jiggy. What year did you play?
95 to 96.
Next question.
Who do you think was the best team? What do you think was the best team of your era? Who was the best player? What player can you single out of your team?
I say last year's team when I played, 1996. The player was Eric Reynolds, number 41, fullback, / linebacker, / extra pointsman, everything else. He did everything. Nah, I'm just joking. I say the year that Roddy Mason and Joe Pistone and a few more other players were playing. I think it was 1994. They graduated. They were undefeated, and then too bad they lost to North Rockland. But stuff happens. Anything else? The best moment was, I say for me, when I was on JV, and then at the end of my JV season, I got moved up to varsity to play with the 1994 Section 9 champions. It was pretty fun, but I didn't get to play in that game. It was a bench moment, first time in my life.
What was the worst moment of your career?
The worst? Last year, the Section 9 game against Kingston, we lost by a touchdown. And that whole entire season, we went undefeated in the section, and then we ended up losing that game. It was heartbroken. You know, I couldn't play with my friends no more. Other than that, I had fun playing high school football for Middletown.
Tony Campazella.
Hi.
Why don't you give us the stats?
Oh, well, it's really nice to be here. I'll tell you, it's after a 100-year game, you know, but Port was always a wonderful, wonderful outfit to play against. And we were very fortunate in our years to beat them twice.
Quick question, Tony. The greatest Middletown high school football team of all time.
Oh, that's pretty hard to answer. I think when John Whitehead came, I think he went undefeated 1961, he came in 62, around 62. I think that was one of the greater outfits we ever had here. Joe Radavoy, Broadhead, Ronnie Smith. Ronnie Smith was one of the greater backs I've ever seen in Middletown, outside of Ray Dodd.
What year did I play? I played in 1964 to 1966. I was a defensive end and a tight end. there are a lot of, this is a great rivalry. We always got up for this. I think the greatest moment of my career was when I played against Fort Jervis in 1966. We beat them 40-0, and I scored 4 touchdowns, 2 on offense and 2 on defense. We had a very good team, very strong team, and we were competitive throughout New York State at that time. But that's the way it goes. We just had a great team. I think that anybody that ever played for Middletown is going to say that they had the best team. But I do think that the team of 64 to 66 had the best team. We had a lot of great players, a lot of good talent. We loved to play the game. We were dedicated to the sport. We were dedicated to Middletown High School, and we gave it our best. I couldn't hear you.
So how do you think Middletown football affected your career throughout life?
Well, I think it set the standard for me. It really set a great foundation for me because coming here in Middletown, playing for a lot of good coaches, with a lot of team players, I just think that it set my whole foundation. It prepared me to go on to school, to compete competitively. It just set my whole life in motion. So I'm very fortunate to have played for Middletown back then and to have the coaching and the players that I played with, the teammates. It was a real, genuine, and good experience for me.
What year did you play for Middletown?
1953, 54, and 55 under the direction of John Anea and Ed Rohde. The illustrious John Anea, if I might add. 1953 was the best year ever because with that bell on the back of that pickup truck out there was our first event for the high school and to create good friendship with Fort Jervis and the football squads. Center. Center.
Who are some of the all-time great players?
In Middletown? Well, one, the back of his head is right here, Buzzy Rose.
How you doing? All right.
I'm told you're one of the all-time best players.
Indeed he is.
Just one of the bunch. We had a good time.
Here's another one.
Who'd you play?
53.
Here's another one, if I might add. Eddie Corley.
How you doing?
Aloha.
Taking your picture. Aloha.
You guys all on the same team?
Me and Freddie played together.
The
Yeah.
same year?
We played just about the same year, is correct. 53, 4, and 5. 55 and 6.
Was that the best Middletown football team?
20 years ago, we used to do like that.
Yeah, well, I think my son's team was better.
Which one's that?
When Eddie Corley Jr.
Is he here?
Yeah, I believe he's here somewhere. But they had a real good time. Gerald Jackson and Gene Scarzafava. Denny Brown.
Eddie Brown?
No, the other Brown. I forget his name. But it was, they had a hell of a team.
Ron Whitby, Bobby DePew, we can go on and on. They're a terrific bunch of people. I was in a DUSO league also, if I might add, which was a lot of competition at that point. We played Kingston, Poughkeepsie.
My son Eddie played with this man here.
Yeah, there it goes. 77, 78, 8, 79.
Gerard, where are you backing up to?
I played in we played in the 100th game. It's
Yeah, I was trying to tell him,
Yeah.
you know the names of some of the kids that played then. Darren Brown, I forgot Darren Brown.
Eddie Corley, Keith Downing, Mitch Meade. They had a good team. Good team.
What year was that?
In 79.
Did you rank that among the all-time best Middletown teams?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. That would be last year's team. We just had that discussion today. Craig Stoltz,
Dan Hinton,
89 and 90.
89 and 90.
So happens coincidence. We got the quarterback here.
And this is my tight end.
Quarterback tight end. We had, what do we have? 5 or 6 touchdown passes together in our senior year. So good connection right there.
I have to block for you all the time. Hopefully they'll do the same thing tonight.
Yeah, I need it.
Who were some of the greats when you guys were playing?
Phil Lanos. Chris Bennis? Chris Bennis? Yeah. There's Clark Deezeral too. He was good. Who else?
It's you guys.
Co-captains
there. Identify your names and eras.
Bob Itzler, 62 to 64.
John George, 62 to 64, co-captains. A lot of people point to your team and say it's one of the best in Middletown history.
That's right.
You're not going to argue with it.
No argument.
Who were the greats?
We were good. We were good. Good teams and good coaches.
Anything memorable, any of your football events that stand out in your mind over the years?
This game,
What happened in the Newport game?
I scored 3 touchdowns.
And we won.
And we won. At Glennon Field.
The gentleman with the black cap is Larry Tesson. I think he was a co-captain Middletown High School, approximately 1932 or 1934. Alderman of Middletown, county legislator, lived in Middletown and still does.
Championship
35.
35. They're the
Championship team. 35.
That one of the best teams of all time.
Jack Hughes said it was one of the best team he's had. I don't know. That's what he said.
Who was on the team?
John Nania, a lot of Baker, Bobby Banker, Dempsey, Grody Dayton, Pingotti, Sid Sharples, Dick Dempsey was a center, Ray Dodd, Nick Costanzo, Nick Volo.
Who's that?
Abe was before me. That's about 11 guys that I can remember.
1941 team.
We played 40 and 41.
They won the championship.
Right.
We won the championship, 1941.
First time up there, Newport Jervis in 40 years.
We beat them in 42.
At Fort, yeah.
At Fort. 40 and 41 we beat
Who's
them.
the guy that...
They really played good ball.
1935, Port Jervis didn't make one first down. 13-0, didn't make one first down.
We don't mention that.
I played from 49, 50, and 51, and Coach Ed Rodick coached our team, and we had a great year. Great 3 years, as a matter of fact. After I left high school, I went on to play some semi-pro, had 2 professional tryouts, one with the Baltimore Colts, and then I wound up in Canada with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And that's about it.
What would you say was the most gratifying moment in your time as a Middletown football player?
Well, we beat Port Jervis twice in 1950, and that was probably the most gratifying moment that you could think of, with all the tradition that's involved and all the rivalry, and I think that was the greatest thing that happened to me while I was in high school.
I have another comment. I have another comment in reference to 1949. It was the year that Al Chase was retiring from Port Jervis High School, and the football game was won by Middletown 13-12. And why I bring it out is the fact that that was the rocking chair game, and that was the Coach Chase's last year of coaching football.
There was one of our great running backs back in 19...
Hi, I'm Gene Courier, 49, 50, 51. I was on the same team with Stan Stoltz in 1950 when we beat Port Jervis 2 times. I can remember in the Port Jervis game, and one of the most exciting things was, I think a record was made by James Frangos, who recovered a fumble on the half-yard line and ran it back 99.5 yards for a touchdown. He was a offensive and defensive guard, weighing about 185 pounds, and for him to run 99.5 yards was quite an exciting thing to see. I was the most valuable player in the 1950 football team. Played offense and defense, and enjoyed every minute of it, and Ed Rodick was our coach.
You glad you played football for Middletown?
Yes, I think it was a fun thing to do, but I think if I had it to do over again, I would be up in the stands with the ladies and let these guys beat their brains out, because I now have bad shoulders and bad knees because of some of the things I did. And I played also semi-pro football with the Middletown Blue Devils for 5 years, from 51 to 56 before I went in the Army. So it was fun, but I feel some injuries now.
I think the best teams was back when Billy Kimberg and those guys were playing. Charlie Lodice and those guys. They not 1950. I played in 61, 62. They had a great team. I think one that probably could beat anybody in New York State, I think.
I played in 61 to 63.
Well, the 61 team is the one they're all pointing to as one of the best.
Well, that's when I just started. The last year we lost to Port Jervis 27-7. So we didn't do so well that year. But the year prior to that, I played next to Joe Radavoy, so it was a lot easier because he was a great player. You should really go interview him.
Is he here?
Oh, yeah, he's here.
I remember some great moments. I remember we had some wonderful times, but I can't remember any specific incident. Yeah, playing in the snow, but that's your memory.
Jimmy Wright. He played at Endicott. First time a Middletown team ever left Middletown to go overnight and play ball. We won upstate.
What's your name and what team was that?
Jimmy Wright. We played for John Whitehead, and that was in 1961. That was the last undefeated team Middletown had.
Some people have said it was the best Middletown team ever.
It was the best Middletown team. They'll never have another one like it.
Marty, huh? You were on the same team?
Yeah, Jack Hinton. I played for Whitehead back in 59 through 61.
And you agree that it was the best team ever?
Best team ever. Best bunch of guys ever.
What moments stick out with you?
The trip to Endicott was good. The Port game was great. The scariest game of all was when Kingston almost beat us that year.
You glad you played football for Middletown?
Yeah, it was a great experience. Coach did a lot for us. Taught us how to be men. He's a great guy.
What generation was better? Who was better? Their generation was better than ours. The 60s, that's right. I think they were.
Which generation are we talking about?
Well, we're talking the 60s and the 70s.
So the best teams are the 60s?
I would think so.
Yeah, you're the only undefeated team was in the 60s, right? 61? And then 66, we only lost one. 65, we lost one. So.
In my team, 74, 75 lost both years, so I'm not saying much. Don't want to say too much.
1966 was the greatest team of all time. Tell him, Howard. Yeah, it was.
61, undefeated, untied.
Yeah, but you didn't play anybody.
Everybody you did.
No, get out of it.
I say how good they were.
How good were they?
You guys couldn't make the team.
Oh, geez.
I don't know. I was one of the cheerleaders. Damn good.
I'm Ed Brody. Glad to be here.
What years were you coach?
Back in the 40s I coached, but I played back in the 30s for Middletown.
Who were the greats in the 30s?
In the 30s, me. No, we had Chippy Nania, Larry Testa, Goldberg, Sharples. Going back, I forget anymore.
You're glad you played football for Middletown?
I am very glad.
Joining us on the field are Coach Edmund Rodick, who coached from 1946 to 1952. 53 games. Also on the field is Coach John Anea, who coached from 1953 to 1957, a total of 36 games. Also on the field is Coach John Whitehead, who coached from 1958 to 1962, a total of 39 games. Also on the field is Coach Richard Wilslayer, who coached from 1967 to 1978 and 1983 to 1995, for a total of 227 games. Joining the coaches on the field are the players and alumni from the 1930s and 1940s. Next would be the 1950s and 1960s.
gotta love it, baby. You gotta love it.
Now joining will be the 1970s and 1980s. These are past football players and alumni of Middletown High School, back to honor their coaches in Middletown High School. And the 1990s.
Nicky Skelly, how you feeling?
Varsity distance record at Duke, which stood for 19 years.
Good luck.
Also nominated for the Duke University Sports Hall of Fame. Coach John Minea taught Middletown High School for 31 years. He coached championship teams in football, track, and cross country. Coach Minea was the winning coach of the first Erie Bell game with Fred Jervis in 1953.
Yes!
Also known as Mr. Football Historian. Coach Minea has completed extensive research on the football rivalry between Middletown High School and Fred Jervis High School. In 1978, he was instrumental in having this rivalry officially declared the longest high school rivalry in the United States. Coach John Minea. Perseverance and high ideals combined to make the best formula for success. Is our profound respect for our centennial general dedicated to a true gentleman and teacher, Coach John Minea. Please give him a big
My first year at Middletown, I must have kicked 15 kids off the football team for disciplinary reasons, like not going to practice, being late for practice, and things of that sort. And once we got through the first year, which was a nightmare, we didn't win a football game. Matter of fact, I always say we didn't even come close, but the big thing about it was we retained 42 sophomores on that football team, which later on became the undefeated football team. And I think my first year we ended up with 5 seniors.
Anybody?
So I got, hey, you didn't show up, you didn't stay, and that was it. And there were no second guessing and things like that. And I think the biggest one was, I won't mention the kid's name, but I booted him off for missing practice, and you know, he just wasn't going to come. And prior to my coming to Middletown, I had found out that was part of their problem. Guys weren't coming to practice on Tuesday, then another group wasn't coming to practice on Wednesday night. You can't run a program if you're going to allow things like that to happen.
Do people hoot and holler when you pick the kids up?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh sure. They even marched at my house, a group. Didn't bother me. I knew how to get to the high school, and I knew how to get to the bank and back home. I didn't go anywhere else in town my first year. I didn't bother. I just didn't. You know, I figured, hey, I'm new in town. We didn't win a game, and these people they're not ready to be on my side of the fence. But as time went on, it got better, and just had a good group of young people, and they became good football players and good citizens. And I think in my last 3 years, I didn't have to dismiss anybody from the football team. You know, you have to know where the bear went in the buckwheat.
I didn't do my research paper why I can't go on the track.
Thank you.